Hello, Tyler and Jill. Here's your sewer scope from this afternoon's inspection. That's me in the utility room getting at that clean out on the main sewer stack that I pointed out earlier. Kind of a tight squeeze, not uncommon in my world for doing sewer scopes. I tend to be kind of crammed into small places. This is no exception. It's just a little bit of an awkward position to be able to push a cable as well. So it was, to say the least, a pretty decent workout to get down the road here. We start out in ABS, black plastic pipe, good stuff. No issues with the ABS. Up ahead, maybe in about 20 feet or so, we're going to start holding water. That may be where the pipe changes from ABS to another plastic PVC. Hard to tell because we're somewhat underwater at that point. It does kind of make sense. A lot of times when you're transitioning from one pipe to another, for whatever reason, there's a sag or a settling in the pipe, so it's a little low. Now we're not talking about the pipe being completely underwater or filled with water, if you want to put it that way. It's probably at most it's a third to a half of its diameter with water. Here we go. So we're holding water. Hard to tell with the discoloration, call it staining if you want, on the pipe. The difference obviously is just the two different pigments. One's black, one's white. The best way to tell if it's PVC is you tend to see a purple primer on the joints. I'm not seeing any joints. Again, it's hard just with the limited visibility. But once we make this drop here, two things. One, I'm 100% sure that we're in PVC and we lose the water. So you can see on the right side of the picture, now the bottom, that streak is primer that's running down the pipe. A fairly extreme drop. I had thought that we maybe had connected with another pipe, one of your neighbors at this point, but I can't tell definitively. The other thing is, because we're making these fairly drastic changes in direction, dropping, turning, bending, all of those fun things, it becomes increasingly difficult to push the cable through the pipe. Right now I'm struggling to get past that bigger curve. The camera head basically sits on the head of a spring, right? So it's about a 14-inch or so heavy metal spring, and then the camera head is at the tip of that. So sometimes that spring will catch on the edges of a fitting or a joint, so it becomes a little difficult to make turns. I've jumped up to turn some water on in the main floor bathroom just to help move things down the road a little bit. We're right at about 40 feet right now. I will eventually get another 20 feet out before I just can't push any further. We're going to make one more change in material. We're going to switch to another plastic, SDR, which is the newer stuff. My guess at this point, because we've switched over to SDR, we're probably in the street in front of the house. At the very least, we're leading up to that, we're in the driveway. So we're getting close, I would say, to making a connection. In townhomes, you never know. You could go on for another 100 feet or so. You could, again, when we made that big drop, you could have connected with one of your neighbors. Hard to tell. Again, another turn. PVC fitting right there, the white PVC fitting in the SDR pipe, that's normal as well. I don't believe that they make SDR fittings, they just use PVC. I think at this stage I'm turning on even more water, or will be here shortly, to see if I can get that last little bit. But again, really challenging to push past this area. You know, I had the feeling that when I was doing this, hey, I'm almost there, I'm just about to get to the city connection. But again, there comes a point where one, physically just can't push anymore, and two, if you really press the limits of the cable, there's a chance you could crack it, and that's not a good day for anybody. Last time I checked, I believe it was $8 or $10 a foot for the cable, and when you're talking hundreds of feet of cable, it adds up pretty quickly, having to replace the whole thing. So I'll go on a little bit further, and that'll be the extent of it. Functional drainage seems to be good. Other than that low spot, again, I would imagine that's just probably settling. It didn't look like the pipe was holding anything at that point, toilet paper or whatever that would be, you know, kind of blocking the water from flowing. So again, I will keep pushing these last few feet. I do keep the camera rolling as I'm pulling back. You're welcome to watch the return journey. So again, trying to get as much water down the pipe as I can to help kind of lubricate things and get me to be able to get that. Again, I was hoping to get to the next turn, the next change. I may have, I don't quite recall. We'll see here in a second. There might be one more turn or drop. Or not. This is probably just about it. Again, don't hesitate to reach out to me with any questions. I'm always happy to be a resource. Please read through the written reports, and again, let me know if you have any questions.